Hey everyone, what's up? Yes, the title is not lying to you. And first of all, I want to say Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. My father, Frank Walmer, my brother-in-laws, my uncles, and all fathers out there. I want to wish you guys a happy Father's Day here on June 17th, 2018. So again, wish you all a happy Father's Day out there. Those that I work with, and again, my father and my uncles and my brother-in-laws and my friends out there. I want to wish you guys all a happy Father's Day. Hope you have a safe and good one, and don't get overexcited or drink too much if you catch my drift. But yeah, again, like I said, you see the title of the live stream here. This is indeed my 10,000th video. That's right, my 10,000th video. And that's hard to believe. You know, I honestly, I don't think for any of us that begin YouTube, either we just have one channel right off the bat and that's it, or we end up creating a new channel because the old one got terminated or whatever. I don't think any of us, especially with all the changes that YouTube and any video streaming service has gone through, I don't think any of us ever thought for a moment, that we would reach this milestone. Now, I'm not saying that I'm the only one on YouTube that has 10,000 videos. There are other channels out there that have probably more video content uploaded than I do. WWE, NBA, Golden State Warriors, NHL, NFL, Major League Baseball, um, several, if not many, of the YouTube Red shows, in my opinion, perhaps have those. I think, I honestly, and I think perhaps some of the established analysis reviewers and all that have those or are close to it. But for me to come out and say that, but for me to come out here and upload essentially my 10,000th video, probably more, is a huge accomplishment because, like I said, there are a lot of video analysis and reviewers, I should say, out there that have been doing this longer, have a bigger audience than I do, practical internet celebrities, and they don't have as many videos as I do. And I'm not trying to brag that, hey, I'm better than them. If I was better than them, I wouldn't be constantly, doing videos from in my room, outside my house, during my breaks or lunch at my job. I wouldn't be doing that. Instead, I would be, in front of a green screen somewhere, possibly in the garage, maybe in a warehouse or somewhere, in front of a green screen, in talking about various things that I could talk about with special effects and all that, but I don't. And those that are established analysis and reviewers, even though they don't have as many uploaded videos as I do, have that capability because they've made a living out of doing this. They've made a living. Now, here's the one thing, I could easily make a living out of this too, but one topic I want to talk about real quickly, and I've talked about this numerous times. Um, is the fact that, with all due respect, I think YouTube, the monetization, or any video streaming uploading service like YouTube, whether it's Dailymotion, Vimeo, what have you, maybe even Twitch, that's trying to get into that game as well. Sometimes the monetizations, where you can make money off your content, off your channel, sometimes I think they are, I'm not trying to be mean, I'm not trying to be offensive by it. I'm not trying to do any of that. I mean, I understand why they give people the opportunity, but sometimes what I see, and I've said this before in earlier videos, the past several years, is I think the monetization puts a bigger target on you than necessary. It puts a bigger target on you than you want. And the reason I say that is because basically you're put into a situation to where there's my dog. Like I said, you're put into a situation that, like I said, it puts a bigger target on you than you expect, because you have to be more careful about the content you upload, because you don't know you don't know exactly how big of a target you're going to have on your back. You don't know, like I said, you don't know how big of a target you're going to have, because I'll give you an example, with all due respect to the guy, Angry Joe. Angry Joe, on several occasions, has tried to trying to see something here. Has tried to basically Angry Joe at times has tried to basically hold on for a sec. Sorry about that, folks. I have to give my dog a little bit of a snack. That's why she usually interrupts at times during this. She kind of knows how to make me get up and do that. So, anyway, like I said, you take, for example, Angry Joe, and there have been constant times that I've been a fan of his. I've been a subscriber of his for years, and basically, he has tried several times to upload content to his channel, and you would think him being invited to these YouTube conferences and stuff like that, creator meetings, creator conferences, being able to get all this access behind the scenes at places like E3, Comic-Con, CES, if he can, stuff like that. Con Bravo, stuff like that. You would think, honestly, and this is the honest truth, you would think video uploading services like YouTube, Dailymotion, Twitch, MetaCafe, Vimeo, Veo, all of them would be a little bit more lenient to someone like Angry Joe because of the fact that, you know, all he's doing when he reviews or goes behind the scenes or something like that is he's promoting the product. You think they would allow him to have that content up there because it promotes the product for them, and he's, in a sense, doing a favor for them by doing so. But because they're not the ones making the money and he is, that content sometimes gets taken down, or it gets copyrighted to the point that, yeah, you could still see the video, but Joe's not the one making the money. Even though, in a sense, he's promoting the video for those people. And he's not doing any harm. It's called, you know, it's like what people say, you know, it's like people have talked about with net neutrality. When net neutrality was taken away, even though a lot of people are still fighting for it, and it's going to come back, there's no doubt about that. A lot of people basically pointed out that by taking this away, you're taking away free speech. And that's kind of what you have here with a situation like Angry Joe. Angry Joe at times feels when he gets copyrighted striked, that his free speech is being taken away because, you know, he's not doing any harm. He's just saying, look, this is how I feel about the game. This is why you shouldn't play the game, or you should play the game, or if you want to play the game, this is what you got to look out for that's bad. This is what you got to look for that's good. You know, and that's all he's doing. You know, it's the same with Linkara. Linkara does a lot of comic book reviews. Now, he's never really had much of trouble, except for one time, where his entire channel was taken down. His entire channel was taken down just temporarily due to the fact that there was, I guess, spam bots or something like that with YouTube. That probably noticed a lot of videos were going up or something. Something happened behind the scenes with YouTube and you know, with the whole bot situation at that time. And then Kara, Top the Fourth Wall channel, ended up being one of the unfortunate channels to be taken down temporarily. You know, thank God it's back up. But like I said, it was just it was taken down temporarily, and you know, no one could understand. You know, I don't think he could understand why until he, I guess, got in contact with YouTube and was like, hey, what's going on here? You know, so yeah. Hold on, folks. Just checking something, that's all. But yeah, you know, it's like, you know, he had no, you know, idea what was going on until, I guess, he got in contact with YouTube and was like, you know, kind of worked things out. But yeah, that's why sometimes I don't really monetize my channel, even though I've been given opportunities to do so. Mainly the fact because, you know, it puts a bigger target on me. You know, I have a niece. What is it? It's gonna be 20. It's gonna be 26 this year. You know, in 2 months she's gonna be 26. That's amazing. But my niece, um, she has a YouTube channel. She doesn't use it much, if at all, but she uses it just to do like, makeup tutorials and all that. And I don't know if she chose to monetize it or not. I don't think she has because she wouldn't, because she'd probably. Well, I'll put it this way: if my niece would have decided to monetize her channel, she probably wouldn't be. I mean, she'd probably still be working, but she probably wouldn't be asking to borrow some money at times. But anyway, the point is, my niece, even if she monetized her channel, decided to make money off her channel, puts a target on her, even though she doesn't use it as much or upload that many videos as much. It puts a target on her. It puts a target on her because of the fact that she is, she's basically making money from doing this. But let's say she uses a certain brand of makeup to do her tutorial with. That brand, that company could say, hey, we never gave her permission to do this, and they could copyright her. They could get a strike on her. And that's the thing. She's taking that risk in a sense by monetizing her channel. And again, it's totally up. No, look, I'm not saying if you want to make money off your channel, you shouldn't do it. That's totally your choice. You want to make money off your channel. That was my dog. You want to make money off your channel, then you go ahead and do it. That's your decision. You say you want to make money off your channel, go ahead. That's your decision. Okay, you want to make money off your channel, go ahead and you go ahead and do so. I mean, that's your decision if you want to do it. You want to make. That's my dog. She's fine. Like I said, you want to make money doing it. Go ahead and do so. Like I said, you want to make money and all that, go ahead and do so. That's your decision. That's your decision. But I just don't do it because, like I said, in my opinion, it puts a bigger target on you, especially when you've been on YouTube as long as I have, and you've gotten to a point, like I said, you got 10,000 vids uploaded. You don't want to chance it. You don't want to chance anything happening. Now, again, like I said, I'm not saying you can't, upload the chat. You can't do that if you don't want to, because of the fact that that's totally your choice. It's totally your choice if you want to do it. But to me, I just don't feel like monetizing, and it's my choice. And I'm making a living doing what I'm doing. I'm working at Walmart in Patterson, California. It's a great job. People love me there. They get along good with me. So again, I don't necessarily need to make money off my YouTube channel channel, even if I wanted to, because I just feel that along with other video uploading sites that offer that same opportunity, it's more of basically you're putting a bigger target on you than necessary. You catch my drift. So that's why I don't monetize my channel the way some people would suggest that I do. Anyway, with that said, and I'm sorry if I was a little distracted. I got my dog. She wants snacks, and and then of course, I'm here on Twitter, just trying to link my channel to a lot of places. I'll link my video here to other areas. But yeah, it's like, to me, if you don't want to make money, if you don't want to, basically, if you're given the opportunity to monetize your channel, it's up to you. Go ahead and do it. If you don't want to do it, that's up to you as well. So, that's the way I look at it. I'm not trying to say, I'm not trying to tell you you shouldn't and you shouldn't do it. That's totally up to you. That's totally your choice. So I'm not saying you shouldn't do it, and I'm not saying you should. That's your choice. Anyway, with that out of the way, yeah, this is my 10,000th video, and like I said, this is a special edition of Topics on My Mind, where I'm just going to talk about anything that comes to mind. And one thing I do want to talk about, real quickly, one thing I really want to address. One thing I really want to address. One thing I really want to address here, and I'll be right back. Come on. Sorry about that. Had to give my dog her meat. But yeah, I wanted to talk about something else here for a second. Something that, well, basically I've heard about, I've kind of been intrigued about, I've looked into, people have told me about it. And I'll say this. I understand. You see, I understand that we all have to make, like I said earlier, we all have to make livings, right? We all have to make a living doing the jobs that we're hired to do, or we apply to do, or apply for to do. But this is one, and but this is one job that really, you make good money off it and everything. That's photo shooting or video shooting for a modeling agency or something. But there is one that really kind of surprised me when I first heard about it. And not going to say by name what it is, but let's just say that the women that are involved in this, I pray they're getting paid some good money, because basically they gotta, and it seems like they don't mind, because like I said, obviously they're being paid good money, but basically they gotta model and at times just go out and have fun and enjoy themselves by doing photo shoots and video shoots in mud, quicksand, bleck, as it's called. Any kind of substance that's like gooey, mud, and quicksand related or something. And when I first heard about this, I was like, really? So so I had some people tell me more about it. And basically, what these women do is they make a living by going out and posing in this stuff. They make a living by actually having fun in this stuff. They're kind of instructed of what to do at first, and then I guess the director or whoever's in charge that day of filming or whatever says, do this for a bit and then just enjoy yourself, just have some fun. And they do just that. And sometimes they'll take like whatever material they're having fun in and just play around in it. Sometimes sometimes take it out, take it with their hands and put it over their heads. And I'm like, okay, this is an interesting way to make a living. And sometimes they even end it off, and this is almost the majority of the videos and photo shoots I've heard of, that people have told me that a majority of okay, basically what people have told me is that a majority of the videos usually end off with the girls submerging into the stuff that the posing in, playing around in, and then sometimes that's how they end the video. And sometimes the girls, from what I've been told, will submerge under the stuff, and then they fade to black after that. Like basically, I guess someone told me it's basically like the girls when they submerge under the stuff, it makes it, and then it fades to black. It's basically supposed to, from what someone told me, it's supposed to basically interpretate that now the girls have become one with whatever substance they have submerged under. Like in other words, when they submerge, they become one with whatever substance. Like if it's black, oozy black, as they call it, someone told me, gooey, oozy black, whatever, or quicksand or mud, that these girls will basically submerge underneath and then it fades to black and then that's it. And sometimes and they even say that sometimes the girls will add in a little tidbit here and there just to make it look like or add to the illusion that they've now merged or become one with this stuff. And again, like I said, it's really interesting to hear that this is one way to make a living, and I hope they're getting paid good money. From what people said, some of the areas that they got set up for these girls would cost a lot of money to set up, even if they're just little areas in the middle of the woods or in the backyard area of the studios. These are kind of areas that are kind of expensive, will cost money to set up. So hopefully they're getting paid some good money. I mean, you would think so, being asked to do that kind of stuff. Sorry about that, folks. Had to let my dog out to go potty. Anyway, anyway, you would think that these girls are getting paid some good money to do this, because it's like, you know, you're asking these women to basically get themselves completely dirty, just, you know, uh, for the amusement of people that might be interested or intrigued by it and want to check it out because of that. But yeah, it's really strange that, like I said, there are just different methods of making a living, and there's different kinds of, video and photo shoot jobs out there like this that allow you to make that living. You know, it's really strange, because it's like, really, you're gonna, put yourself through this, and you know what? It's probably, and you know what? I look at it this way: if that's the choice they want to make, if that's the choice they want, and they feel it makes good money, and obviously must, they're gonna do it. And from what some people have told me, obviously these girls don't really mind. These girls actually sometimes look like that. Okay, they know they're doing a job, but it looks like they're having fun doing it. And like I said, from what I understand, it sounds like that these girls, when they get directed to do something, they're directed to do certain things, and then they're told, "Hey, it's like they're directed. Basically, it's like, okay, they're directed to do certain things. It's like they're directed to do certain things, and then they're basically allowed to have a little bit of fun. Just have a little fun on their own, just improvise kind of thing. So I can't really say. So honestly, I can't. I can't judge them for wanting to for wanting to do what they do. But yeah, it's really interesting that, I mean, here's the thing. I know there's a lot of video and photo shoot jobs to where you have to, like with certain video shoots, and these basically, from what I understand, are the same way. They, they basically, video shoots will sometimes have the models or whatever do a little acting before, they do something related to that video shoot. It's related to the topic of that video shoot, or whatever they got to do for that video shoot. And the same could be said here with the women. Said with the women that do this job. Sometimes they're asked to act dramatic and, do this and that. So yeah, again, it's an interesting way to do it, and it's an interesting take on doing video and photo shoots for a living. So again, I can't judge them, because, like I said, apparently they make good money. The only problem that I think anybody has, from what I understand, is when they buy these DVDs or these digital. Okay, so all right. Basically, there's two ways, from what people have told me, that these things are sold. Well, actually, three ways. One, according to somebody, is you can do it individually. There's a website. There's another website connected to this where you can buy a scene. You got to have a membership. It's a monthly membership, from what they said. And you have to spend about and they said to get a certain amount of tokens, you either got to spend between $5 to $100. $100 basically gives you a lot of free passes, if you catch my drift, tokens, if you will. That's what they said. I don't know why they would charge that much, but anyway. And, because like I said, I don't know why they would charge that much. I'm guessing that, hey, you pay this one-time deal for these many tokens, you don't have to worry about it later on. And I guess that makes sense. But the point is, it's between 5 and 100 from what they said. Some of the scenes are barely 10 minutes or 8 minutes, and they cost maybe about so many tokens, which, some people might find a little ridiculous. But then it's not just that. You also have other options from what they said. The other options, of course, buying it on DVD, because they do sell DVDs from what I understand, as well as buying it digitally. But here's the problem. Unlike, going out and buying a movie, like let's say Spirited Away, like I just recently got on Metropolis, which you can get for about $20 to 50, which you can get between $15 and $20. These DVDs and digital versions cost between 40 to 45. And it's like, well, wait a minute. The average DVD cost about 20 to $25. So unless you're selling a series, like a multitude of discs, a set, if you will, you shouldn't have to charge that much. You shouldn't have to charge that much. But then again, this is not movies. These are video shoots. And it's kind of like how people look at Patreon or super chatting. It's like, why charge so much just to, like in super chat, just to text up or just to type up a message for someone to read? Or why do you have to Patreon and charge so much just so someone could get a certain reward or whatever? And as much as I hate to say this, the reason they do that is the same reason, obviously, that this modeling company and others like them, these modeling video and photo shoot companies, and like I say, others like them, charge so much for their DVDs and digital releases because they need the money to improve, to keep going. And that way they can also pay the models, the workers. Like here, it's like, here, we've made this much, here you go. And that's the only reason I can think of them doing it. It's the same reason that, I'll be right back, hold on. But it's the same reason when I bought something off eBay a couple times. Hold on. I had to let my dog back in. But anyways, it's the same reason that, sometimes when I would buy something off eBay, they would charge, so much. They would charge so much for something that shouldn't have to cost that much. Like I said, I'll give you an example. About, what was it, a month or so ago, I bought a mystery bag figure, out of the bag and everything, of Rainbow Dash. And I think it was Rainbow Dash or Starlight Glimmer, I can't remember. But one of them cost around $21.99. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's because it's rare, you can't really find it. Ironically, what happened was a couple of days later, I ended up buying another blind bag at my job, or a couple more blind bags at my job, and lo and behold, guess what they were? One of them was Rainbow Dash, and the other was Starlight Glimmer, and one of them was basically a duplicate, or basically the same figure I had just spent about $22 on. And the only reason someone would charge so much is because, yeah, it is rare probably to get any of those characters. But secondly, they probably needed the money, and they probably feel, hey, there are fans out there that are willing to pay so much to get certain figures or items that, hey, I'll charge whatever I want because I'm going to use part of, because honestly, when people use eBay or iOffer or whatever, and they charge so much for certain things to be purchased, They do it because that's partially how they make a living. Like me, they could have another job, like at a place like Walmart or Target or wherever, or Kohl's or what have you. And honestly, they may make good money off of it, but they may want to have an extra side, an extra amount of cash on the side. So they probably say, you know what, let's do this and let's charge this, and that's probably what they do. Heck, there are people that make what MLP plushes that are about that size, a little bit bigger, if not life size, and I mean life size, if you will. That they could charge as much as $200, $300 for it. And you might say, well, that's more like a $50, $100 job, as good as it is, as good as the plush is, especially if it's life size. That's more like a $50 to $150 job I should be paying for, and that's it. The problem is the reason they charge so much, or more than what you would probably perceive it to cost, is because that's how they make their extra money. Again, same thing with this this video shoot. This kind of like this video modeling shoot agency or company, that has the women do what they do with the mud, the quicksand, and the black and all that. The reason they charge so much individually sometimes, or the reason they charge so much for like tokens to buy individual scenes, from what I understand, and as well as to download or buy, DVDs or digital versions of a set of basically one DVD worth of certain video shoots and all that, is because that's how they make a living. That's how they make the money to improve on what they need to improve on. Sometimes people do it. Sometimes people will charge money basically because they need the extra money to pay bills, or they need the money because they're going on vacation. Stuff like that. They do that, and we may not always agree with it, but that's how it works, and that's how people make a living outside of the living they're making right now. They may, like I said, they may make good money at the jobs they're at right now, but sometimes they feel, hey, I can use a little extra cash. What can I do on the side? And instead of getting a second job, they decide, you know what, I'll just make a living by doing this on eBay, or selling this on eBay, or charging this much. And, again, we may not agree with it, but if that's the decision to do it, so be it. That's the decision to do it that way, so be it. And again, there's not really much we can do. Now, would some people say it's worth it in the end? Absolutely. People would say it's worth it in the end. Not many people are going to agree with it, but if it's worth it to them, it's fine. It's like with me. If I have the money and I decide doing a live stream by Deluxe Man or whoever, like Andre Black Nerd Comedy, he's done it too. If I decide, you know what, I'm going to donate $5 to a super chat, I'll donate $5, and at the same time, I could type up 150 characters of stuff I want to say. Or if I just wanted to do what some people do, because I've noticed some people do this with Deluxe Man when he does a super chat, doing a live stream, they'll just donate $5 or $10 out of the blue and not say anything. Some people will just do it, and then the only thing they'll say is, "This is because you're such a great content worker." That's the only reason they would do it. Only reason they would do that. Only reason. And that's their choice. If the only reason they want to do it is to help them out because and also compliment them along the way, that's the reason. That's their decision. So what? The the point is, folks. The point is, folks. We may feel certain things are expensive and they shouldn't be. We may feel that it's unnecessary for people to charge certain amounts of things, and that's fine. But it's our choice. If I choose to support this one person's Patreon to get an IOU story, to get a story of whatever I want commissioned or made, then I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. That's my choice. I may not agree with the charging of how much it's being charged. I may not agree with the dollar amount of how much, they're asking for as part of the Patreon, but if it's to help them out in the long run, so be it. So, and that's another thing too. A lot of people always question, to transition a little bit into this next topic. A lot of people, like, with all due respect, the Schleg Daddy, OTR Central, and many others, along with many others, everybody always wonders why. Why do we end up charging so much? So much. We're not charging so much. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is a lot of people like the Schleg Daddy wonder why people result to, not result, but why do people out there decide to make that extra amount of money? They have to, that the result they end up, that the end result is they end up using something like Super Chats or Patreon. Because the one thing that Jeff Siegel, the Schleg Daddy, said about Patreon, and several other people have said the same thing, and just adjusting my pop filter there, a lot of people have said the same thing, is the fact that it's like e-begging. It's like you're basically begging people to give you money. You're like, oh, please do this. I'll charge this and this and this and this, and you'll get this and this and this. But I'm asking you to donate this. That's what it looks like to someone like the Schleg Daddy. But it's someone's choice. We may not all agree with Patreon being a site like Patreon being essentially what some people would say e-begging, but I don't think it really is. Because here's the thing, Jeff, and this is one thing we may disagree with all due respect, is if it was e-begging, many of the people on there, even those that we know and we support here on the internet, on YouTube and all that, on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, even those that we may support that have Patreon, if they were like that, if Patreon was nothing but e-begging, even those that we know and support, we've known and supported for years, we'd be charging huge amounts of money just to see bonus content. But they don't. They only charge a certain amount because they know many people can't afford that much. So, that's so I look at it this way. Patreon is not really e-begging. Okay? If Patreon, like I said, was e-begging, even those that we know that we've known for years would be charging so much because they need the money, but they don't. Some people that use Patreon will only charge up to $1 to $5, and you'll get something in return. Huey Toonmore actually charges about $5. The most he charges is like $5, and you get a video request of your choice. That's it. Now, do I agree with the fact that perhaps the people that use Patreon to make that extra amount of money should reduce the prices of the rewards? Absolutely. You shouldn't have to charge someone $50 to $75 of, oh, I'm going to pay this a month to Animat just so I can, with all due respect to Animat, that is, because this is his choice. That's his choice. He wants to do that. But you know, someone like Animat shouldn't have to charge people $50 to $75 just to get themselves several Patreon exclusive requests on his Animation Classic Look Back series, or his Animation Classic reviews, I should say. Instead, if I'm Animat, this is my opinion to Matt Burnett, this is my opinion to him. If I'm Animat, and I know I have so many supporters out there, that instead of charging maybe $50 to $75, maybe I should be charging $20 to $40 at most, instead of up to $75. Because here's the reason. $20 to $40 will be just as good earned as $50 to $75. I mean, I understand maybe that extra, maybe charging that much is because maybe he has bills to pay, or maybe he wants to stay in the apartment or duplex he's living in, and that's fine. And that's fine. I have no problem with that. I understand that I understand that currency amongst countries is a lot different. What should be $40 to $20 charge here could be about a $50 to $75 charge in Quebec. I mean, I understand if that's the difference. I understand maybe if, rental wise or whatever, if he's renting if he's renting where he's living or whatever he's doing, I can understand that that's a lot of money. I can understand that a complex he might be living in might cost a lot more, a month. And, he needs the money to basically stay where he is, because, it's kind of hard to make a living where you're at right now. And I understand that. I'll give you an example. Me and my mom, when we were basically, I wouldn't say forced, well, essentially in a sense we were, to move out of our house in Patterson, yeah, we were given the option to buy it, and we were taking all the right steps to do it. But it's like, we had been there for almost a decade, and our landlord should have been able to work something out with us. Instead of us having to go through a retailer and trying to figure out, okay, what can we buy that's in our range, or rent what's in our range, our landlord shouldn't have said, oh, well, I want to sell it to you guys, but I want this much in return. He should have worked with us. He should have said, you know what, for as much as we were giving him for rent, and we will keep trying to keep that place up as much as we could, he should have at least maybe charged us half of what he wanted. I mean, what he wanted was around like 33,000 or something, or I can't remember. He should have charged us half, because we could have afforded half. All right, we could have afforded half. I mean, essentially what we pay. I mean, we were paying essentially back then about $1,000 a month. Very, very reasonable. Very reasonable. And he could have worked with us and said, you know what, I'll charge you $1,600 a month, and then, work something out to where we make up the difference and still give him a monthly rent, but we now own part of that house. Basically, part of the ownership of the house is in our name, and then we just pay him the rest off later on. There you go. He could have worked something out with us, but he didn't. So, unfortunately, we had to move out, but thank God we found this place, ended up being the first people living here. So, things work out in the end. But like I said, I can understand maybe that's why someone like Matt Burnett, Animat, charges as much as he does, because of the fact that he may not, because of the fact that the vicinity he's living in, the location he's living in, maybe there's not many affordable housing or apartment complexes out there, and this is the best he can do right now. So maybe that's why he charges as much as he does. And then on top of that, he needs the extra money for bills, and of course, that additional money for like equipment and all that. New equipment and all that for his show and whatever he does. So I can understand that's why Matt charges as much as he has. But if I was Matt Burnett, Animat, I wouldn't be doing that. Instead, I'd be charging maybe half of what I want, because half is more reasonable than almost $100. I mean, Huey, and that's with all due respect. I mean, even Huey Toonmore doesn't charge that much. Like I said, Huey Logan, whose real name is Logan, charges $1 to $5. $1 to get your name in the credits before his show begins, and $5, from what I understand last time I saw, to get a commission of your choice. And that's fine. That is absolutely fine. I mean, there are people that, even on DeviantArt, that would charge so much for a commission. Grape Athenia, there are several times that she would say, okay, depending on how many words it is, it's going to cost that much for the work, when I get done. So, like, if she had to do a story, if she was commissioned to do a story, this is Grape Athenia, that is, if she was commissioned to do easy for me to say, if she was commissioned to do a story that consisted of 4,000 words, it would be about $40. Understandable, because you're taking up her time for her to do that. There you go. It's reasonable. There's a reasonable explanation for that. It's the same with another friend of mine, Crime Zero Edge. The commission, they will commission you, or you will commission them for a story, but you have to tell them how many words you want, because that way they can say, okay, it's going to cost this much. So if I say I want a short story about 1,000 words or less, it'll be about $10. I want a long story that's 2,000 words or more, it's going to be $20. Again, we may not agree sometimes with the methods that these are done, of how the methods of how much people charge for certain things. But if that's the way of making some extra dough on the side, so they can live in the house they're living in and continue to pay the rent for it, or continue to pay the mortgage for it, or if they need a little extra to pay bills, or they need a little extra to get new equipment to help them out with what they're doing on their show or the YouTube show or whatever, then so be it. So be it. That's what they're going to do. We may not all agree with it. We may all have a difference of opinion on it. But if that's how they're going to make a living, then that's how they're going to make a living. Like I said, that's the same with Patreon. Patreon basically is another way of making a living. We may not all agree with the options that Patreon allows people to have when it comes to making money, or making an extra set of money on the side. But if that's how people are going to make some extra dough on the side to either have that extra money to pay their rent or their mortgage or their bills, or have the money they need to get the equipment that's necessary, or they feel is necessary to help continue the show, then so be it. Again, like I said, not everybody's going to agree with the idea of Patreon allowing this to happen, or allowing people to do this. Same way people won't agree with eBay allowing people to charge as much as they want in a bidding war or a direct buy or direct sale for something that people may want to get their hands on. People may not agree with that. But like I said, if that's how things are going to work out, or if that's how people, well, basically I'm going to put it this way. If that's how people feel, hey, this is the only way we can make some extra money on the side so we can continue making a living here, making a living with the finances we get from our other job, then that's what we got to do. But again, getting back to Patreon, I don't think Patreon is e-begging. It's just another source of income. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's just another source of income that allows you to continue to make your living. You're not basically begging people saying, oh, please, I need money and all that. No, you're just saying, hey, look, I'll charge you this much and you'll get something in return. Sometimes people won't even ask for a reward. They'll just say, hey, I'm going to donate $1 to $5 because I feel like it. And that's it. They're not like some people on the street. And this is where this is where the difference is. They're not like people. Patreon is not a home that's on the corner of the street. Okay. Because the people that use Patreon, they're not like that. With all due respect, God, they're not like that, because they're not holding up signs saying, oh, do this, oh, do that. And you don't know whether or not they're telling you the truth. You don't know whether or not they're asking for money because, oh, I need money for this and that. And then the reality is the money that they want you to give them is so they can go out and pay off their drug deals, or go out and pay for cigarettes, or go out and pay for whatever marijuana substance they need so they can get a natural high, or pay and go get as much alcohol as they can so they can get wasted. You don't know if that's their true intent. You don't know what their true intentions are, because someone could say, oh, I just need a couple of bucks to, to get by with. Da, 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 da. You don't know if the real intention is, oh, I'm going to ask this person I'm going to say this is a person to get an extra to get some $5 or whatever added to the money I have already. And I'm going to go get me a 30-pack of Bud Light and get wasted on it. You don't know if that's their true intentions. You don't know if they're going to do that or they're not. That's what I'm saying. You don't know if someone, like I said, is going to ask you for an extra, just for a few bucks, added to that other few bucks they may have gotten from some people, and then go into the store and buy a 30-pack of Bud Light and get wasted on it. You don't know if they're going to do that because they're not telling you. All they're saying is they need this because they need help to survive. They need help to get by. You don't know what the true intentions are. And that's a big difference between Patreon, because Patreon, now look, I'm not saying that some of the people that use Patreon and all that are doing it because they want to go out and get those smokes and all that. I'm not saying that, because usually Patreon is a very legal, whether you like it or not, it's legal. It's something that if you don't, Patreon is basically a website in a business that if the people using Patreon to make money don't follow through on their promises, they will get sued, and Patreon will probably kick them off and refund people their money. And the person using Patreon might get arrested. So yeah, they may use Patreon. It might be some people that might use Patreon to get extra money for alcohol or smokes or whatever, but they know that if they're using it for that they also still got to follow through on their promises, or else there's going to be a lot of suspicion going on. And that's the big difference between begging and what Patreon does. It's a big difference. And again, like I said, some people may or may not agree with it. Some people may feel it's this way. Maybe some people may feel it's that way. I'm just saying. But yeah, the way I look at it, honestly, is I don't have a problem with Patreon. I have a Patreon account. I just don't use it to make an extra amount of money, because honestly, I don't know what I could make money off of. Make money. I mean, I have a Patreon account, but I don't know what I could do to make money. I don't know what I could say and do to make money. Could I do reviews of stuff people want me to do? People want me to review? Absolutely, I could do that. Could I do that? Could I review comics? Absolutely. Could I review movies? Absolutely. Games? Absolutely. But I'm not that way. I have a Patreon account, but I'm only there to support people. Because a lot of people like an Animat, like a Linkara, like a Smokescale Aquarius, like an Eric Schwartz, like a Bob Show, you know, what else? Just people there that put so much time and effort into what they do that they deserve something in return. I mean, the fact that Bob Show, Rob Thomas, takes his time to do videos that he does, he deserves something. He deserves a little something in return because he may not be as well known as Linkara or Angry Joe or even Angry Video Game Nerd or Nostalgia Critic, but he's basically using his time to provide us with the content that we get. Like right now, he's doing a free comic books month deal where he's in front of a green screen, obviously, with all due respect, with video footage that they must have recorded from one of the comic book shops near him that was doing free comic day. Because honestly, with all due respect, Bob Show, if you were really doing that in front of at a comic shop, don't you think some people will be looking at you trying to go like, yeah, you know that? No. Again, it's all due respect, man, but I kind of see what you're doing. It's no big deal. But point is, someone like Bob Show will put so much time and effort into what he does that he deserves something in return. And that's why people also send packages to Bob Show, Animat, and Linkara. They don't have to send them packages. They don't have to send them gifts, but they choose to because they put so much time and effort in what they do. They deserve something in return. And that's kind of like what people do with Patreon. They could have a Patreon account, but they don't have to use it to make money. They use it sometimes just to support people. So again, difference with Patreon is it's not e-begging. It's basically just another source of income people choose to go with. If it was truly e-begging, people would be charging prices out the wazoo, but they don't. But do I agree that the prices could go down in price? Absolutely. They absolutely could. But again, that's just me. I mean, Eric Schwartz, he charges what, about $1, I think, a month, and you get access to a lot of his Sabrina Online, because he's continuing the Sabrina Online series through Patreon. He's continuing it there before putting it onto the Sabrina Online site. He's continuing it there, as well as he's got another comic book series which is based off his Fur After Dark series. He's got another Patreon page that he dedicates, like I said, to his Fur After Dark series. So, from what I understand, basically, for $1 on each, for $1, from what people have told me, from what I've seen, for $1 each, you get access to the pictures. You get access to the comic strips and all that when they get published, before he puts it officially on his other websites a little later on. So basically, you get access to all that, which I guess is kind of cool. and that's only for $1. So those are reasonable. But there are, like I said, there are reasons legitimately that people charge as much as they do. Because again, where they live, housing, renting, or mortgage wise may not be cheap. So they have to have that extra dough to keep themselves afloat. I mean, heck, you take a look here in California, recent news studies point out that you have to make about $27 an hour just to afford to rent a house or something in the Sacramento area. Go figure. But yeah, you legitimately have to pay so much money just to do that. It's you have not make money, but you have to, you have to make so much money. You have to make that amount of money an hour, minimum wage wise, just to afford to rent a house or something like that in the Sacramento area. Go figure. But again, that you can kind of see why someone like an Animat would do that where he's living. Maybe to him, $50 to $75 just to get to get a Patreon request for an animated movie or whatever for Matt Burnett Animat to review. If that's his choice and that's how he feels he can make a living, stay afloat, then that's his choice. Again, like I said, I know I sound like I'm repeating myself. We may not all agree. We may not all agree with how Patreon works, but it's not an e-begging service. With all due respect to Schleg Daddy, it's not an e-begging. It's not e-begging. Okay? It's not. Because if it was, people would just be charging so much out of the wazoo and give nothing in return. That's the way I look at it. All right. Another thing I want to talk about is, this being my 10,000th video upload. If someone would have told you 10,000 videos ago on June 4th, 2008, that I would be a fan of My Little Pony, in this case, the 4th generation, Friendship is Magic, if someone would have told you that I was going to become a fan of that, they probably would have laughed at you. If someone would have told me that, I would have laughed at them. But lo and behold, evidence is right in back of you and all around you, as you've probably seen through this channel. But what's funny is 6 years ago, I did a video where I said I'm not a brony. I basically said, look, I respect it. It's somewhat intriguing, but I'm not a brony. Who would have known? About a year or two later, about 4 years later, 5 years later, I would rescind what I said in that video. That I would basically go and become exactly what I said I wasn't 6 years ago. Who would have thought that? Yeah? Who would have thought that I would have rescind on what I said. And now look. I don't know what it was. Honestly, I think what it was is a lot of people were talking about it. A lot of people my age, men and women, were talking about it and enjoying it and loving the characters. A lot of people my age, men and women, were collecting the merchandise, plushies, shirts, you name it. A lot of men and women my age said it was good. So, along with that and looking at the clips and all that, video clips, curiosity got the best of me, and wouldn't you know it, I actually found it fun. I actually enjoyed it as well. And there were some characters that stuck out to me. Rarity was the first one. Of course, a lot of people like Rarity, mostly because some people like Josh Scorcher, Firebrand, feel she's best pony, and I think it's mostly because she's the eye candy of the group, so that's going to help too. But yeah, You take a look. You take a look at how much of a difference 6 years makes for me, if not 9 years. I mean, when I first heard about Friendship is Magic, I mean, I thought to myself, nah, I'll never like that. It's My Little Ponies for girls. I still had that mindset somewhat. And then all of a sudden, boom. And this is coming from somebody that actually did collect some pony figures back when he was living in Kansas, because at least Hasbro was trying to make a comeback with them. And the figures looked a lot better than what was being shown on television or on video, from what some people have said. The figures looked a lot better than what was, like I say, being seen on video and all that, or being showcased on television and video. But still, even though I collected them and it was because of nostalgic reasons, I was never really much into it. And then all of a sudden, Friendship is Magic comes around and the game changes. The whole game changes. The whole landscape changes on how men and women feel about certain shows. And like I said, originally I was not going to be into it. And then over time, like I mentioned, people, I hear more about it. I finally give it a chance and I'm like, okay, I can see what people are talking about. And the more I would look at YouTube clips, the more I hear what people like Dr. Wolf, Silver Quill, Lightning Bliss, Golden Fox, Keyframe, Firebrand, all of them would talk about. I'd be like, okay, this is pretty good. It's actually not too bad. It sounds intriguing. And lo and behold, wouldn't you know it, I became a fan. I became a fan such to the point that not only on opening day did I go to Turlock, which was also my day off, and I think I even requested that day off to do it, did I go and see the movie on opening day. But like I said, you look behind me, I think the evidence is clear as day. But if that's not enough, not only did I get like the Rainbow Dash airship, not only did I get the giant talking Princess Twilight Sparkle, not only did I get a whole set of MLP figures, which, they touch the hoops and they glow. Not only did I get all that, not only did I get the art book for it as well, for the show and the movie, not only did I get the complete waves of wave 22 and 23, but I also got this recently. This was the only one left in my job. I just got this recently, the only one left in my job. Look at that. This was the only one left at my job. And they were clearancing these. These, along with the Frozens, along with the JoJo ones, along with the regular karaoke machines, they were all clearancing these out. Look at that. I mean, hard to believe. Hard to believe that I have that. I mean, heck, I got the freaking, what was it, Sequestria Canterlot set, but I got the Walmart exclusive one that came with a bonus I guess a bonus 2 figures of Celestia and Twilight. The original Canterlot Sequestria set only came with Nova, Queen Nova, and Spike as a pufferfish. But the Walmart one gave you a few more figures. But yeah, If you would have told me back in 2008 I was going to end up becoming a fan, I would have laughed at you. Boy, what a difference a decade makes, right? What a difference. And besides, even back then, we didn't even know there was going to be a show like Friendship is Magic. All any of us knew at the time was G3. And yeah, that's kind of gotten a reputation at the time. But yeah, like I said, if you would have told us back then, told any of us back then that we would become fans, we would have completely laughed at you. And that's the truth. We would have completely laughed at you. But yeah, it's just hard to believe. It really is. I mean, do people still tease me or still laugh at me or all that because of my liking of it? Oh, absolutely. Even my family still does it at times. I mean, they understand. I mean, okay. My family has come to accept it. They've come to accept, okay, that's what he likes, that's what he's going to like. But they still get on me about it. They still tease me a bit about it because I think and honestly, I know I'm not the only one that still gets teased about it by their family. But I think the reason our families still do that at times is because even though our families are accepting and they understand it, or they're accepting of it and they understand it, that even though they understand and accept it, they still kind of find it hard to okay, I'll put it this way. Even though my family and other families out there may accept and understand why accept the fact, mostly, I'll put it this way. Even though my family, and I'm sure my family is not the only other family, but many families out there of maybe even well-renowned analysis and reviewers of the Brony and Pegasister community and Riff Cafe community, even though our families, may accept the idea that, okay, they like ponies and that's their choice, or they like My Little Pony Friendship is Magic and that's their choice, I think they still find it hard to understand why. Because, like a lot of us, we grew up programmed, as crazy as that sounds, but we grew up programmed to look at the fact that shows like My Little Pony and Gem and She-Ra were for girls, and shows like Transformers, G.I. Joe, and He-Man were for boys. That's what we were programmed to understand. We weren't programmed to understand the fact that many years later, 30, 20 years later, that rule, that programming would be shut down and thrown into the trash, and now we're allowed to like whatever we want to like no matter what. I think that's the reason some families still find it hard to understand why. It's like, okay, we'll accept it. We accept that this is what you like. Okay, we get it. It's like, okay, we get it. We just don't understand it. That's basically what it is. It's like if somebody, it's like if what do I put it? It's like if somebody liked Spider-Man One More Day. There is a majority of disdain for that story. Even Linkara did a 500th episode on it. Not 500th episode. Did a 100th or 200th episode on it. He did an anniversary story on it. He did an anniversary edition of his show on it. He dedicated, what I'm saying is he dedicated an anniversary episode of his show, Linkara that is, on ripping into Spider-Man One More Day. Because he had the consensus as everybody else. This story was not good. It had potential, but wasn't good. So so what I'm saying is, it's kind of similar to that. It's like a lot of people can not like One More Day, but there's always going to be a few people, a majority of people. There's always going to be that group of people that do like One More Day. And those that don't, like let's say Linkara, will basically be more accepting of like, okay, I accept the fact you like One More Day and all that, but they won't understand why you like it until you explain it to them. That's it. They will not understand why you like something until you explain it to them. They'll accept it, they just won't like it. You know, and that's understandable. You know, it's like, oh, we'll accept the fact that you like this, but we just don't understand why you like it. And you know, that's their decision. That's their decision to make. You know, like I said, you know, they may accept it, they just won't understand it. And that's the same thing with my family and other families out there. You know, they may accept the fact that we like My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. They just may not understand it. You know, to them, it's more along the lines of, you know, to them, it's more along the lines of, okay, initially, this is a girls' show. Oh, and all that. Initially, this is a girls' show, and only girls should like this. Only young kids should like this. And I think what folks need to understand when it comes to Friendship is Magic, and even Josh pointed this out when he reviewed Fame and Misfortune from last year or last season, there are moments and references throughout the show in its past 7 seasons and current 8th season, if you will. There are references and moments in there that the young kids, the initially targeted audience, will not understand. They will not get. You know, he pointed out the whole acknowledgement of the communism situation in that was kind of referenced in there. So, you know, so basically, kids won't get that, but the adult fans will. And then the overall message of the review of the story. Basically, what Josh Scorcher pointed out there was it was basically because he said M.A. Larson, and M.A. Larson has gone on record and said, hey, I initially wanted to do it this way. It's like everything you got in there was how I wrote it, but I wanted to do it another way. But M.A. said that even though everything we got in the episode was what he wrote, it wasn't the way he intended, and instead, the people above him, DHX, Hasbro, said, nope, we're doing it this way. Because I think even DHX and Hasbro, even though they have acknowledged and even praised and thanked the fans for the support, adult fans that is as well, especially if you look at season 5 episode, Slice of Life, there's still a part of the people over there at Hasbro and DHX that even though they know about the adult fan base and they, like I said, they dedicated the 100th episode to thanking them in a sense, that being in season 5, that being episode Slice of Life, that even though, you know, that even though they thanked the fans back then, there's still some of them that still don't get it. There's still some of them at Hasbro and DHX that don't get why adult fans my age, younger or older, like this show. They don't get it. And the one thing that Josh Scorcher pointed out was that would seem to be the intention of the creative staff. That even though M.A. Larson wrote the story and wanted to go another way with it, they wanted to go away as to saying, hey, get it through your heads. And if we have to use the main characters, the main 6 as they call them, or main 7, to kind of get it through your head, let's get it through your head. This show is meant for young kids, not for you. Young kids don't care about little details here and there. They just care about the character, the ponies, and mainly, ooh, I want to get that pony next in stores. And that's the one thing Josh pointed out was at the end of the episode, you had these 2 little young fillies who were kind of sporadically seen throughout the episode during certain moments, being brought in at the end as the creative staff's way of saying, hey, this is the age group that's supposed to like the show. It's meant for them, not you. And when I look at an episode like Fame, and I kind of get what Josh is saying, because it's an episode that basically is, no, again, I get what Josh is saying. You know, it's basically an episode, well, basically the staff is telling us, look, we basically what I'm getting at is it's their way of saying, hey, we love your support, we appreciate your support, but remember, the show is initially meant for young kids, not you. In other words, they're basically telling us, hey, let the kids enjoy it, don't critique it, just leave it as is. So even if an episode in our eyes is bad, like let's say some people are back and forth about the mid-season 8 finale, The Mean Six, even though some feel it not the best episode they could have done, or not the best mid-season finale they could have done, what the creative staff says in Fame and Misfortune is, hey, don't worry about it. It's not your job to be critical. Let the kids enjoy it. And it's like, okay, fine. You want to say, you want to believe that, you want to go that route. Okay, fine, whatever. If that's how you feel, fine, whatever. But guess what? It still doesn't stop people. Everybody from Josh Scorcher to Lightning Bliss and Watchful Pony to Silver Quill to ACR to AC Race Best. I think that's his name. RC Race Best and his crew that did a reaction video to the episode. To all of them, it's like, yeah, look, we get what you're saying, but this is not going to stop us. This is not going to stop us, okay? Because here's the thing. If this show is meant for young kids, why not put it on a network that's meant for young kids? Not a lot of people are going to like the idea that you're trying to tell them, look, if this episode don't get it through your head, we don't know what will. But yet, here's the thing. You still throw out moments in the series that even young kids won't understand. Get what I'm saying? I mean, School Days, your season 8 premiere pretty much indicates that as well. Anyway, it's like, but anyway, getting back on topic, if you were getting back on topic here, it's like if you would have told any of us, even those that I mentioned, that we would become fans of it, of Friendship is Magic, I don't think any of us would have believed you. Or that back in 2008, if you would have said, okay, the next generation of My Little Pony, you guys are going to love, you all going to become fans of, we wouldn't have believed you. But yet, here we are, 10 years later, from when I did the first video for this channel, and look at this. Unbelievable. It's unbelievable. But yeah, who would have thought I would become a fan of this show? All right, just looking at the comments. Yeah, thank you for the congratulations, Jordan and Wild. I really appreciate it. And if you haven't checked out Wild Hop's channel, check it out. You'll like it. They do basically live streams of their basically the cartoon Disney related CAW league. They do all right. They do good. Like me, they're improving. They're getting better. To check out Wild Hops and check out Jordan as well. I think you guys will like what they have to give you. Yeah, just it's hard to believe it's been 10,000 videos. I, I still can't comprehend that. 10,000 videos. Like I said, I look at someone like Linkara. I look at Angry Video Game Nerd. I look at Channel Awesome and Angry Joe, and these are all well-renowned uh, people here on YouTube, people, reviewers, analysis here on YouTube. That yes, they make money off their channel. That yes, they're well-renowned, but they don't even have this many videos. Even Zarin Nizarak, known for the Multimedia Chronicles, doesn't have this many videos. And it's shocking. It's surprising that I of all people have it. And again, I'm not saying I'm not the only one. I know there are channels out there, company-related channels and all that, that have probably more videos than I do. But to be able to say I have 10,000 vids, I can't believe it. Can't really believe it. It may not be a milestone to a lot of people, but it's a big deal to me. Because you know what this means? This means right now, at 10,000 videos, I'm a little above, I'm basically now 90,000 videos away from 1 million videos. That's saying something. Will I get to 1 million videos before the year's out? No, absolutely not. Not with my scheduling. It may take years, but still, it's like, holy crap. 10,000 videos. I still can't believe it. And I've done a lot of things here on this channel. I've done my Sonic comic reviews. I've done AMVs, fan vids. I've done movie of the month, stuff like that, cartoon flashbacks. So I've done a lot here. Done a lot. And I'm still getting going. I'm still going. I feel like I haven't really scratched the surface yet of what I can do. One thing that really constantly I think gets a lot of people to respect what I do is the fact that most of my videos, when I talk about topics or something, most of them are unscripted. Most of them are on the fly. Most of them are like, whatever comes to my mind, I'm going to say it. And I think that's what a lot of people respect is, even though there will be times that I'll type something up, and then later on, if I want to do a video on camera, audio, that there are times I probably will read off what I've typed up just to make sure I get my points across. But then again, I'll also add in a few tidbits here and there along with that. But still, it's hard to believe. 10,000 videos. Amazing. Amazing. I don't think I'll ever get over that. I mean, yeah, I'm going to have to, yeah, there'll be more videos added on, but there'll be more videos added on, but still, it's like, holy smokes. Okay, let's get moving here. Let's get moving on a little bit. Jordan asked me basically what my favorite movie was of all time. I think that's what he said. Was it all time? Or was this year so far? Let me check. Excuse me. Well, Jordan, I haven't seen that many movies in the theaters yet this year. I think maybe just one or two. But I think my favorite has to be right now for this year, since I've only seen it once. It has to be Black Panther. I haven't seen Avengers Infinity War yet. I want to see that, but I may have to watch it on when it comes out on digital and home video. But yeah, Black Panther I think is possibly my favorite because it's really good. I mean, um, a little bit of a little bit of a story here. When we went to go see it finally, we were planning to see it with me and my mom were planning to see it with my sisters and the family. What happened was there was a miscommunication, and me and my mom ended up showing up at the Modesto Brendan Theater, and we ended up watching the movie. We did see the movie. We missed maybe about a few minutes, but we ended up seeing the movie. But what happened was my sisters was seeing. Okay, what I'm saying is we were supposed to all be in the same theater, but because there was such a communication error, me and my mom went to the showing that was being done a half hour later than what the showing that my sisters went to. See, my sisters went to, I think it was the 4:30, 5 o'clock showing. We went to the 5 o'clock, 5:30 showing. But we all got out essentially we got out 30 minutes later, but everything worked out in the end. We still had dinner together and all that. But it's like the miscommunication is basically what led us not to be in the same theater at the same time. But despite that, the movie was good. I think one of everybody's favorite lines or moments in there was Shuri. I think it was Shuri. Yeah, it was Shuri basically looking at her brother, T'Challa, I think, King T'Challa, and looking at his slippers or sneakers and going, "What are those?" I think that's everybody's favorite line out of the movie. But again, that's probably so far has been my favorite. I just not have seen Avengers Infinity War, or Avengers probably would have topped it. I'm gonna say this. I haven't yet seen Incredibles 2 yet as well. That might top it, but I don't know. Here's what I'm wondering. And I'm not just saying this because people might think you might be asking what's wrong with this guy. But here's my question. During the trailers, they show Helen in a bathrobe at a hotel room talking to Bob on the phone, seeing how things were. For those, and you can spoil me a bit here on this. I'll give you that. You can go ahead and do that. But did Helen... Did she take a bath or something, or a shower? Because I'm wondering if she did the bath part. I'm wondering if Pixar had her just get so relaxed, she just went really loosey-goosey. In other words, just let her legs and arms just extend out and maybe almost to a near liquefied state or something. Did they do that, or they just add that scene in where she's in a bathrobe in a hotel room just for the heck of it? Just curious. Again, you can go ahead and spoil me if you want to, but I'm just curious about that. There has to be, you have to have more than just her being than just that scene, and that's it. I'm just curious. But yeah, I haven't seen Incredibles 2 yet. Excuse me. I haven't seen Incredibles 2 yet. It just came out, I know, but I want to see it soon. Yeah. Speaking of movies, I did show you guys some of the recent pickups I did, but I ended up getting a few more movies this week too. Excuse me. I ended up getting a few other movies. One of the movies is in the living room right now, and that is the I Can Only Imagine movie, which is a good Christian movie from what I understand. But the other movies I ended up getting was Studio Ghibli's Spirited Away. This is the G Kids release, and apparently there's a booklet and everything. From what I understand, it's supposed to basically be a little bit a better release, but I think what Disney did so far is pretty good. Maybe I think the reason it's a better release is because it's G Kids and they might get away with a little bit more than what Disney did. I don't really know. So I ended up getting Spirited Away. And then this one really surprised me at the fact that it was released on the Blu-ray, Metropolis. So, and then like I said, I ended up getting I Can Only Imagine on DVD, as well. But the other thing I also got as well, if I can pull them out here for a second. Of course, I ended up getting this. They had an X-23 one. I still got to find that. But then I ended up getting this. It's pretty cool. It actually has sound in it too. If you press this,
looks like we're cleaning up another mess.
You get sound effects.
We're just here to help. Honey, are you sure about this? Hey, we're superheroes. What could happen? Hey there, I'm Mr. Incredible. And I'm Elastigirl. Oh, hold on. Aren't you supposed to be Mr. Incredible? Very funny, Helen. Looks like we're cleaning up another mess.
It's basically that, and as you can see in the corner there, and then on the back, this is what they're supposed to do. So it's pretty nice to have. And then, of course, I got the other figures there as well. And I'll be honest with you, I'll probably do a separate video on this down the line. But I'll be honest with you, I think that even though Incredibles 2 apparently is a huge success, and it possibly could be an Incredibles 3, I think honestly they should just do an Incredibles animated series because they have so much they could do with it, and they could do it in the same veins as Big Hero 6. They could just animate it, and there you go. I think people would really enjoy an Incredibles series. But yeah, not really much else to say except thank you all for the support. I really appreciate it. For 10 years, I've enjoyed doing what I'm doing, and I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing with this channel. And I know, even now, even recently, I'm going to have detractors. I'm going to have people coming up in the comment sections and saying things that are inappropriate, say things to kind of discourage me. But I know who they are. I know that some of them, just by the wording, whether we like to acknowledge it or we don't, just by some of the wording, just by some of the wording that some of these people that say detractable, if not insensitive comments are just a bunch of teenagers that are out of school now and they're bored. Just a bunch of young boys that have these channels that are just out of school and they're bored and they have nothing else to do. So I just ignore them. I don't let them bother me. I used to, but not anymore. Because if I have to deal with people at my job, customers at my job, that can become a pain in the you-know-what and have attitudes with me, with my fellow associates, with our managers, just because certain things are not going their way, I think I can handle a little bit of trollish comments from a bunch of young pre-teens or teenagers. Yeah, but again, thank you all for your support over the past 10 years. and helping me to continue doing what I love to do. I may not make money off this like a lot of people do, but I just do it for the heck of it, for the enjoyment of it. And I think that's what a lot of people should do. I mean, yeah, making money off your channel could be great, but I think we should just also look at it and go like, hey, we love doing what we're doing. We love sharing our opinion, and that's all that matters. I mean, to me, that's all that matters. And if I'm able to give people a variety of things here on this channel, so be it. And, well, Willie C29, if you're just messing, man, you gotta watch what you say, because some people may not take it that way. And thank you for the kind words, David. Again, like I said, thank you all for supporting the channel for as long as you guys have. I mean, look, I may not be the most watched celebrity out, not celebrity, but most watched YouTuber out there. I may not agree. I may not agree with what a lot of people say. I may be into certain things that people may not understand, but that's who I am. When I'm sure people always wonder, well, why does he put these little clips of women melting into puddles and all that? Long story short, back in the mid-1980s, 85, 86, I saw the episode Polly Voo Woos. I saw the Popeye short from 1956, Polly Voo Woos. You take a look at the ending of that, and that'll give you your answer. Because if you would have told me as a kid, when I first watched that Olive was going to melt into a puddle of butter that flows down the floor of her house, and all you see is her eyes and a smile on the puddle. Even as a kid, I'd be like, that's not going to happen. They're human characters. Yet it happened. And, and some people may say, well, why are you so into, a female singer or artist doing a remake or retake on the Sledgehammer music video by Peter Gabriel? Because it's like I said, I look at the times we're in. I look at the technology that we have. And pretty much I've seen evidence that it can be done. And I've seen that there are some people that can do, some women that can do it, like Laura J. Martin, Kira Greaves, I think. According to Raven, a Bob Show and Raven, Pink, maybe. I've seen a lot of female artists, up and coming or established, that can do it. And it doesn't just have to be a remake of the Sledgehammer song and that's a remake of the Sledgehammer video. No. It could be their own song, but they could do it in the style of the Sledgehammer music video from 1986. There's a group that did a video. There's a group called Death Cab or something that did an homage video. Did an homage music video to the Sledgehammer music video, but to their own song. And thus, it can be done. And all I think is we just need that female singer, that female artist out there, up and coming or established, that be willing to do it. That's why I'm always talking about that, because I feel it can be done. And I just get this feeling that we're getting close to it. Because I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's God giving me hints here and there or what. But most of the time, over the past year or so, I've been hearing off the Walmart Radio Network, Sledgehammer by Peter Gabriel. I'm thinking, are you trying to tell me something? I don't know. I really don't know. But let me throw the question out to you guys. Which female singer or artist, established or up and coming, do you think? Let me throw it to you. Who do you think? Any established or up and coming female singer or artist, who do you think can take their own song and do a Sledgehammer Peter Gabriel like music video to it? Who do you think can do a remake of the Sledgehammer 1986 Sledgehammer music video to their own song? Which female artist or singer do you think? Let me know down below in the comments, or let me know in the chats. I'd like to know what singer comes to your mind. But yeah, it's hard to believe. 10,000 videos. And I continue to still do cartoon flashbacks. I might go back to doing a few movie of the month deal. Keep an eye out for those if that happens. I'm probably going to do some comic reviews, maybe on the My Little Pony IDW comics. And just to let anybody know, I have not yet read the IDW Sonic comics. I am waiting for the moment, for the time, because I know it's coming, that we get the Freedom Fighters in the book, and I think they're going to be coming. I mean, if they say it's probably, because what I'm getting is, we're not going to get them this year, but there is strong hints that I believe they're planning something for next year. They're not saying anything, and I think the time we're going to find out that if anything's going to be coming, it'll be either San Diego Comic-Con or New York Comic-Con of this year. So I would keep an eye out for those. But yeah, I'll probably end up doing some comic reviews, maybe. Again, maybe go back to doing some movies of the month. I mean, heck, a series that I'm continuously still doing, Animated Girl Profiles, or Animated Girls Profile Confidentials. I started on this channel, and it was inspired by Play First Cinema and Jawbreaker's Furry Girl Profiles. And Jawbreaker, I thank you for that. I thank you for that inspiration. And if you have not checked out Play First Cinema and Jawbreaker's Furry Girl Profiles, check them out. I think you'll like the series. Yeah, but 10,000 videos. It's unbelievable. And some of them are clips. Some of them are re-uploads of other content that I'm sure the people behind them would appreciate. I'm sure they do, because it gets them more exposure to their channel, to what they do. But yeah, unbelievable. 10,000 videos. I can't think of any more to say. All I can say is just to keep tuned in. There's going to be more to come. And you know what? Who knows? I may get beyond 10,000 videos this year. I'm looking at it this way. I'll probably end up in the 10,100 area. That's what I'm looking at. So, but really, I can't really think of anything more to say. Just again, thank you all for your support. I really appreciate it. Dang, what's this? I don't know what you're saying there, Black Pinoless, but I'll check it out. But yeah, there's not really much more I could say. I didn't even know I'd be live streaming with this channel, but now I am. And there's been a lot of live streams. And this year's been really interesting. I mean, the fact that, I still have people getting on me about my CAW stuff, and it's like I said, it's like I said in one video, 2K is not going to care. Unless they add in an option that says, that gives the creators the power to just let friends upload certain things if you're on the friends list, so be it. But they're not going to care. Because to something like 2K, if you create it and you upload it, you're giving people permission to do what they want. So, again, but again, hopefully, it feels like, even though it's still kind of a touchy subject to some, it feels like it's kind of dying down a little bit. So, yeah, really, I can't say any more than that. I'm glad you guys enjoy the content that I do here. Again, it may not be for everybody, but hey, as long as I get some people to support and be happy, to support my channel, subscribe to my channel, get the word out about it, and as long as I'm able to entertain people and bring smiles to the faces, that's all that really matters for me. I mean, I have to basically work 6 to 8 hours or 5 to 8 hours, depending on my schedule now, because the computers like to schedule us, and then now they're giving us like 5 hours or 6.25 hours. It's weird. But as long as I can get a chance to do something like this in between and make people happy with it, it's great. I know one complaint a lot of people have is I kind of ramble, I repeat. And look, that's just how I am. Sometimes I get so into something that I just end up repeating it. End up repeating what I said before. You call it a family trait, heredity, if you will. But besides that, I really appreciate people's support. And again, I know some people don't like that my videos can be long, like this stream's going to be a long stream, but still, I appreciate you guys' support and subscriptions, and that's really all I'm going to say, folks. I can't say any more than that, but all I can say is thank you all for tuning in live. Really appreciate it. Let me check the chats one more time before I close up. But thank you all for tuning in live. I really appreciate it. Can't ask for any more than that. Again, I can't ask for any more than that. I really appreciate your support, guys. It's it's really great. It's just really great to know that I can do that. So again, thank you all for tuning in and just supporting this channel. Well, I really appreciate it. So that's really all I'm going to say, guys. So thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for coming into the live chat. Thank you all for the congratulations on the 10,000 videos. Here's to more to come. And thank you all for tuning in live. Thank you all for tuning in post live after it's been uploaded. Hope to hear from you guys in the comments section. God bless. Take care. You all have a safe and happy Father's Day. And I am out. Thank you all for your support. Appreciate it. God bless.